Hello, hello, DMG's Jim here, continuing on our audiobook, reading the frickin' manual, the 2024 Dungeons Master's Guide. We are in Chapter 6 and about halfway through this chapter. Cosmology, something I really enjoy, the planescape, the cosmic wheel, all of the cool stuff, the outer planes, the multiverse. A lot to get your brain around. This chapter does a pretty good job of giving you the basics, giving you the fundamentals, helping you decide either, ooh, that's really cool and I want more, or that's too much and I'm going to make my own. And either version is okay, but understanding the idea of how a cosmology affects your campaign design is the key here. So let's get into it. As usual, I'll read first and I'll comment later. Unfortunately, I love me some Planescape, so I do have a lot of comments. Apologies in advance. Let's get into it. Our next section is Planar Adventuring. In real world myths, legends, and literature, venturing onto other planes of existence isn't simply a matter of visiting an unusual environment inhabited by strange creatures. It's a journey with meaning expressed through layers of symbol and metaphor. Adventuring on the planes of the D&D cosmology is an opportunity to craft similarly meaningful and profound journeys. Planar adventures ought to be extraordinary. As adventurers reach the medium to high levels of your campaign, they find more cause to venture beyond the confines of the world they call home and explore the planes. If you are ready for the party to undertake a truly mythic quest, such as to find a lost artifact or an elusive extraplanar entity, the vast multiverse is yours to explore. As their physical and magical abilities are put to the test, the characters might find their emotions, values, and spirits challenged as well. Bases for adventures. The first thing is going to be the Blood War. Throughout history, the teeming demon hordes of the Abyss and the regimented legions of the devils from the Nine Hells have battled for supremacy in the cosmos. On worlds of the material plane, those who know of the conflict refer to it as the Blood War, a conflict that has raged for millennia, ravaging the lower planes. The battlefields of the Blood War are concentrated in the Nine Hells and the Abyss, though fighting also takes place on the material plane, on the planes between those realms and on the Great Wheel, and anywhere else that demons and devils congregate, except Sigil. Although the intensity of the conflict waxes and wanes, and the front lines of the war can shift drastically, a moment never goes by when demons and devils aren't battling each other somewhere in the multiverse. Many demons and devils are obsessed with finding some advantage for their side in the Blood War, and powerful mortal adventurers are sometimes drawn into tangled schemes to that end. Additionally, open conflicts between fiends is a constant threat on most of the lower planes, even when it is incidental to the missions that bring the characters to those planes. A simple quest to find a treasure lost in Hades becomes much less simple when the treasure is located in the midst of a raging battle. Natives of the upper planes also have roles to play in the Blood War. While most of them are content to watch evil feed upon itself, they still take steps to minimize the threats to the rest of the multiverse. Whenever the Blood War spills into a location outside the Abyss and the Nine Hells, angels and other emissaries of the gods, including mortals of exceptional valor, stand ready to intervene. The next section is Planar Adventure Situations. Here we go to our quick little... this is a short section. Ew. Planar Adventure Situations. You can use the Planar Adventure Situations table instead of the tables in the Adventure Situations by Level section in Chapter 4 to inspire adventurers that draw characters into the planes of existence. These adventure ideas are most appropriate for levels 11 plus. It's a D10 table. We'll just read through this because there's some good inspiration ideas for here. I have some thoughts as we finish this section, though. Planar Adventure Situations. When magic fails to revive a dead person, the only solution is to venture to the outer planes to find the person's spirit and either release it from some prison or convince the person to return to life. Number 2, people who venture into the woods keep accidentally wandering into the Feywild or the Shadowfell. They might never return with no sense of how much time has passed, or return dramatically changed. Number 3, a long-dead oracle is the only one who knows how a terrible prophecy might be averted, but the cataclysmic fulfillment of the prophecy has already begun. Number 4, God has stopped answering prayers and won't respond to any commune spell. Number 5, a devil has tricked an angel into meddling in the Blood War, and the angel seeks mortal aid. Number 6, an ancestor of one of the characters must be convinced to bless the character before the full power of the character's bloodline can be unleashed. Number 7, a foolhardy knight carried a holy weapon on a doomed mission into the Nine Hells, and the powers of Celestia want the weapon and the knight's remains retrieved. Number 8 is a Titan is imprisoned on an outer plane. The characters might be trying to stop those who seek its release, or they might want to release it to help defend the world from a greater threat. Number 9, to prove themselves worthy of an even greater quest, the characters are sent to slay a horrible monster, win the favor of a powerful planar being, negotiate peace between two warring planar factions, or retrieve a long-lost item on another plane. Why didn't you guys just make it a D12 table? Fuck. I'm sorry. Number 10, an item of legend is being sold at an auction in Sigil, or the City of Brass, or some other planar metropolis. Okay. I apologize. That's the end of the read. I couldn't help it. I have a little bit of derision for some of these. Now, here's my thing. The planar comments are starting now. If you're here for audiobook mood, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you for the next video. Planar adventure situations. This is some good examples of what can take place. This might inspire your campaign. This might inspire your adventures. But in my opinion, you shouldn't just be randomly deciding to send your players to another plane of existence and randomly rolling on this table to decide why I'm sending them there and then randomly deciding the plane that I'm sending them to. No, no, no. This almost flies into the face of what we first read. It's a journey with meaning expressed through layers of symbol and metaphor. Adventuring on the planes of D&D cosmology is an opportunity to craft a meaningful and profound journey. It should not be driven by a whim. It should not be driven by a random table. If you don't have a reason to send your players to the 9 hells, don't send them to the 9 hells. If you want to use the 9 hells, then you should be planning your campaign around going there, an excursion to there. It shouldn't randomly happen that this side adventure takes us into the abyss for 3 levels, and then we come back and get back to our regularly scheduled programming. No, 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 no. An example is the module, the adventure book Out of the Abyss, that was presented in 5th edition. The abyssal eruption is at the end of the adventure, and if your players choose to go into it, it's the start of a new campaign. Your players, even though it's called Out of the Abyss, have nothing to do with the abyss until the abyss shows up in Menzoberranzan, in the Underdark, okay? The flip side of that is Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. Your players, the first part of that is simply to serve up the reason why we're going to why we're going into the 9 hells. The entirety of the campaign is wrapped around this trip through Avernus and these heavy-duty experiences and moral quandaries that your parties face and battle through as they go through Avernus. Planar travel, planar adventure shouldn't be on a whim, unfortunately. It might sound fun to send your players to the I would say Feywild and Shadowfell are the only 2 exceptions, because they're basically the material plane in goth mode or the ethereal plane in emo mode or in hippie mode. I'm being a little bit of a dick, but that's a Shadowfell. Boohoo, emo, goth material realm is Shadowfell. Hippie, wildlife, flowers is your Feywild. You can go back and forth between those and the material plane all day long without really messing with stuff. But if you're wanting to go to Gehenna, if you're wanting your players to go deal with some trade dispute in Bitopia, if the beasts of the Beastlands have suddenly taken an evil turn because the influence of Malar, you want good, distinct campaign reasons to go adventuring into the plains, okay? They give us an example of one of the conflicts in the Blood War. Yeah, the Blood War is a cool thing. It permeates each and everything within the 9, certainly the 9 hells, but within the multiverse as well. The fight between law and chaos. It's not devil and demon, it's law and chaos. They're both utterly and truly evil. So this can show your players that the battles in the multiverse aren't just about good and evil. They're about order and chaos, law and chaos. I would dare say those are the overriding factors of the cosmic wheel rather than good and evil. If the multiverse was just about good and evil, then there'd be a good plane and an evil plane, and there'd be layers within there that represent the law, the chaos, and neutrality. No, I would dare say law and chaos are the bigger driving factors manifesting in the 17 planes that we have. Okay, sorry. I'll always use an opportunity to talk about planar lore and those concepts, so I do apologize. But yeah, this is not a great section on planar adventuring. It does give you some good examples of what adventures in the outer planes can look like. But yeah, unfortunately, you're sold a little bit short in this section. Now, I mean, to be fair, the idea of creating an adventure in the outer planes is the same as creating any other adventure. Your situation, your hook, your encounters, and your resolution. The basic building blocks that we've been practicing this entire time will still apply, But you're getting into more theories, you're getting into more ethics, you're getting into more moral battles, a lot less roll initiative to kill the bad guy when you get in Planescape. Because most of what is in the Outer Planes can kill the players in the blink of an eye. Any effect that a deity decides to drop on your players happens. There is no saving throw. There is no negotiation. There is no evade. I'm going to use my nimble escape and my I don't care. You don't get a save. Set looked at you and said, "Die. You died. I'm sorry. There's not even anything left of your soul. Your character's gone. Roll again." That's a level of power that you players should be afraid of dealing with in a Planescape, in an Outer Planes adventure, in a multiversal adventure. Okay. So crafting your adventures should look a little bit different. Pay attention to the power curve as well. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but I'm trying to keep the video short. And let's be honest, I only read for like 3 minutes and I've been talking for 7. So not the best section that we've seen in the book so far, in my opinion, but it does give you a description of what adventures look like in the Outer Planes. Thanks a bunch for hanging out. We'll be back to finish this up. The last section in Chapter 6 Cosmology will be a tour of the multiverse. We'll get into all of the planes. Probably just short little couple sentences talking about each of the outer planes, but it is info, right? Likes, follows, subscribes are appreciated. Come back for the next episode if you've been hanging out. Thank you so much for your time. Join us over on Twitch. You can also push that Patreon button if you want to help a brother out. If you really appreciate this and you want to show a thanks, drop a $5 over there, man. I'm not going to say no, and I'm going to say thank you more than anything. But hey, man, your time is valuable. I appreciate you guys sharing it. We'll see you for the next video. See you soon.